Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. How are all my XR people doing out there? I've got 3 stories to cover with you in this video. The first one is XRP ledger-based sum project ready for private beta testing, which is awesome. We've been reporting on this for months now, it seems. And it's nice to see projects moving forward when some don't make it, like, for instance, Omni, and also I reported on XR Parrot shutting down recently due to regulatory issues, not because it wasn't finding a real-world adoption. But still, hey, we got good news here. There's always going to be good stuff to talk about. So we got that, and take a look at this headline from today. XRP index of liquidity about to set new records in 2 largest corridors. And let me tell you, my friends, if you are an XRP holder, as is yours truly, this is fantastic news. We love to see real-world adoption, and this is the type of thing that will be, I think, long-term. If you look long-term, this is the type of news that will result in price appreciation of XRP. Now, that's not financial advice. I just don't have a financial background or anything like that, but that's my firm belief after researching the fundamentals on all this for over 2 years. And then the last story here, this is from Cointelegraph. Bitcoin risk return a different beast compared to Amazon, says analyst. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, but don't get all smashy with it. Only dorks smash the like button. It's appropriate to just give it a reasonable tap that will indicate that you like the video just as much as if you abrasively smashed it. And go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel if you haven't, because if you don't, I think that your life will never be complete, and deep down you know that. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So this first story I got from my friend XRP Crypto Wolf. So thank you very much, and shout out to you, sir. Again, it's XRP Ledger-based sum project ready for private beta testing. Now, XRPL Labs has been working towards developing applications for the XRP Ledger, and its latest product, Sum, is in its final stages. XRPL Labs developers, Weetse Wind, Ali Mohamedalou, God, I don't remember. I hope I'm saying that right. Mohamedalou, that's probably reasonably close. I'm doing what I can here. And Tristan Van de Kamp, that one's better, have been working on Sum for quite some time now. Excuse me. Weetse Wind, while tweeting about the addition of a bug reporting tool, told the community about the progress of the application. And he said, here's the tweet on screen actually, all right, oops, asked Baltazar to add bug reporting / feature request tool to the Sum private beta release, only to discover after a code refactor, the bug reporting / feature request tool collected way too much info about our future users. Not comfortable with that. And so then he had a tweet in response to that one, and he wrote, but we're actually having a beer right now, so as we're so close. Then he's got these check marks here of developer documentation, developer app console, check, platform improvements for Alloy Networks project, check, accepted for a first Apple App Store test flight release, check, and final internal tests and fixes, checked. So final build, it's like TikTok, right? The beta version of the application will be available to a small group of skilled developers, according to Wind. The team has been aiming for the iOS release on January 24th, followed by the Android release in the subsequent week. And Wind added in a tweet thread, while I'll be in touch with the testing developers in the next 2 to 3 weeks, at Baltazar223 and at ThisIsTris will work on some interface and usability improvements. He writes in parentheses, we already have some planned. We'll add plus improve before we'll release some to a bigger beta audience. After that, public beta. And in an interview with AMB Crypto, Wind talked about his expectations from the Sum beta launch. And I do like that AMB Crypto is actually reaching out to developers on the building on top of the XRP ledger. So kudos to them for that. And here's another quote from him. I hope to get confirmation our workflow works and makes sense, both from a developer and an end user perspective. I expect to receive a lot of great, well thought out input we can use for the final version we'll release to the general public, our V1, and for our backlog for future releases. Now, the project has been delayed due to technical reasons, and users were getting impatient for its release. However, Wind believed to keep away from a deadline as the security and usability may suffer. which I think is wise. When told AMB Crypto about some features that made its way to the first release. But when you're developing something new, you find this with all sorts of different types of software. Even if you set up a deadline, it very frequently is not hit. But here's another quote. Some features we originally planned for future sum updates we decided to include in the initial release include number 1, exchanging IOUs, for example, XRP for USD/BTC or for XRP, etc., using the decentralized exchange. 2, user lookup based on xrplns.com and BitHump usernames, etc. And number 3, a publicly available developer console where developers can register an app and send sign requests to users instead of the initial invite-only developer access. We're talking to some exchanges for a some sign request and sign that's funny. Sign in integration as well. And so the team expects the launch of some in February. However, Wind remained fixated on the ideology that the product needs to be, quote, right, not released, quote, right now. So, all good things in time it's coming, but I'm glad to see that they're on track. I mean, this after, obviously, like I cited, there's Omni and XR Parrot that didn't ultimately pan out for the long term, and then XRP Tipbot getting shut down. Of course, Weetse, I reported on that, found a workaround, so this is good. It's good to report on something positive here, especially that Weetse's doing. All right, next, XRP Index of Liquidity about to set new records in 2 largest corridors. Ripple's XRP has come close to breaking another record regarding its index of liquidity on the 2 on-demand liquidity corridors set up by MoneyGram in Mexico and the Philippines. So I'd say as small as the market is for this right now, given that the whole ecosystem for RippleNet, including on-demand liquidity, is getting built out, MoneyGram, relatively speaking, is driving serious volume, and that's what I think a big part of why you're seeing these reports on a pretty regular basis of all-time highs in terms of the liquidity index. Of course, I understand that, as far as replacing Nostro accounts the world over, of course, I understand that XRP is illiquid to handle that, but that's only for now. Look long-term. Now, in Mexico, this corridor goes through the biggest local digital trader Bitso, and Ripple also invested in this company last year to fund its further development. And I mentioned this sometimes, it's probably at some point in December, kind of recently, in case you guys hadn't heard, it's kind of interesting. When Ashish Burla with Ripple, one of the original Ripple employees, traveled from home base at Ripple in San Francisco down to Bitso in Mexico, he showed up, and there's several dudes just working in somebody's mother's basement. And I don't know if he was ready for that, but he reported on that, and just think to what they've become at this point. Just they're a juggernaut now. Bitso's huge, and they're only, 6 years old, roughly? And look at how much volume they're putting through, and you've got MoneyGram, which is a household name that's been around forever, pushing it through this little startup operation that was literally in somebody's mother's basement 6 years ago. That is the type of awesome stuff that's happening in the world of crypto. Things can happen fast, right? So just imagine another 6 years. Anyway, as the MoneyGram chief executive Alex Holmes stated last year during the Ripple Swell major conference in Singapore, as of then, around 10% of all transactions MoneyGram made to Mexico were conducted using XRP. And the last update from Alex Holmes was 15%, though. And it's presumably, if they're really ramping up, it could be even higher. Presumably it is. Okay, I think that's reasonable speculation. We don't know it to be fact, but well, that's what the word speculation implies or means directly anyway. But if you keep seeing all-time highs, I mean, sure, there could be other partners that we're perhaps unaware of that continue to ramp up volume. That's fair. But I'm willing to bet a huge chunk of this is from MoneyGram, which is just the biggest on-demand liquidity partner that Ripple has that's actually using it. Of course, the exchanges are gigantic, too. I get that. They have 6 exchange partners right now, but still. The global payment service run by Holmes uses Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform. In the Philippines, the corridor goes through the Coins.ph crypto trading platform. Now, the current all-time high of the XRP liquidity index on Bitso totals 11,138,681, and the current trading volume has come real close to getting over this figure, and at press time it equals 10.4 million. I'll just round it right there, and there's the tweet on the screen right there. And then the current all-time high on Coins.ph is also about to be surpassed. The day progress is 42% so far, so absolutely massive. Now, crypto investors look forward to every new milestone, even a tiny one, to do with XRP, since they hope this will push the coin's price up. And I know it doesn't in the short term, but I hope you guys understand why. It could not be more clear that XRP is just following the price action of Bitcoin. And, in a mature asset class, news like this would push the price up, just positive news overall. We keep seeing reports like this, but I'm just saying generally, major positive developments would have much more notable impact. But instead, even after major partnerships like Ripple with MoneyGram, that we got official word of this past summer, it doesn't matter yet. It will, but it doesn't matter yet. And all that proves is the nascency of this asset class. But eventually, XRP will run on its own merits. And by that, I'm talking about real-world utility. So just be patient, ladies and gents. It's coming here. All right, from Cointelegraph. Bitcoin risk return a different beast compared to Amazon, says an analyst. Bitcoin's risk return is a different beast compared to even the darling of the stock market of the 2000s, Amazon. That was the conclusion drawn by one of the cryptocurrency industry's best-known analysts and the creator of a uniquely accurate Bitcoin price model. Uploading a chart showing Bitcoin risk return versus Amazon stocks, U.S. bonds, gold, and the S&P 500 on January 24th, Plan B showed Bitcoin behaved completely differently as an investment. Amazon's significant losses in the year 2000, combined with its revered recovery ever since, still keeps it far below Bitcoin's risk-reward ratio. Bitcoin is a different beast, Plan B summarized, describing Amazon's position on the chart as, quote, much closer to normal. Amazon's share price appeared to shake off revelations involving Saudi Arabia allegedly hacking CEO Jeff Bezos this week. Both Amazon and Bitcoin nonetheless fell over the past 7 days, with the latter potentially reacting to uncertainty stemming from China. And so there you go. It's kind of an interesting, but to me it's not terribly surprising. This is an entirely different asset class, and so I do still think it's reasonable and fun to talk about the parallels from the crypto asset class relative to the dot-com boom and bust, even though, again, crypto asset class versus stocks, I get it. But there are some interesting technological parallels and also human behavior parallels. So even if there is different price action for Bitcoin and the entire asset class, to me, it stems from the fact that this is something that's brand new. This technology didn't exist over a decade ago. And there's a frenzy around it. People are still figuring this out, and that's creating a different type of opportunity that, in terms of investment reward, if we are right about what we think is happening here, and we pick the right cryptocurrency or currencies to invest in, the returns could absolutely dwarf what happened with Amazon. I personally believe. Now, I don't say that to hype anything, but it's one of those things where it's like, this is a non-hype channel, but I also want to say what I believe. So, that's where I'm coming from here, and that's the reason that I have such fun tracking this stuff. It's because I do believe that. And I think that time will bear that out. Because the implications, what we're talking about, the way money moves around the world, the Internet of Value, and XRP's integral role in all of this, it's substantial. So as long as things keep going positive, that will be my position. If things start to go south, I will be very vocal about it. If I lose confidence in XRP for any reason, you're going to hear it from me first. But I can't imagine. I mean, right now, it's just... Look, utility matters and will win the day. And what do you see happening? You see XRP getting used. Anyway, that's it for this video, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!